Now it's time for that time when we talk to our special guest. Tonight's special guest is Bruce Lipton. Bruce is a famous cellular biologist who writes books based on his discoveries in the lab. Visiting New Zealand for the summer, Bruce pays a visit to The Beat Goes On to talk about his brand new book, The Honeymoon Effect. Look out for our competition for 3 lucky viewers to win a copy. We welcome Bruce Lipton as our special guest on The Beat Goes On. Bruce Lipton.
So happy to be here.
What an honor.
Thank you so much.
What an honor, all the way from the United States of America.
Don't tell people that.
world famous author. You've come to our humble studio in Auckland, New Zealand, and we are over the moon. We are over the moon.
I am excited to be with you again. You know, this isn't. We're not virgins at this. We've done this before.
We've done this before.
Yes.
But I did say to my daughter that Bruce Lipton was coming on the show. Bruce Lipton. Wow. So you are famous, Bruce. You're famous.
Very small circles
of
a few friends of mine.
No, big circles. Okay. But look, just in case there's one person in New Zealand that doesn't know who Bruce Lipton is, I think we better have an explanation. It all started back in what wonderful year was it that Bruce Lipton entered our world?
Oh my God, 1944. We're coming on to 70.
1944.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, older than baby boomers. And I was there when they were born.
And what state of America was this in, Bruce?
Well, I started on the East Coast, and then there's that old saying, go west, young man. And throughout my life, I kept going west, ended up on the West Coast in California, where I was at Stanford, and then said, there's another west, and guess what? New Zealand. That was it. So I went west as far as I can go, and I'm going to stop at this one.
But your career was all about that marvelous little piece of equipment that makes the human being the cell. You're a cellular biologist.
Absolutely.
Now, that's a great title, isn't it? A cellular biologist. If you go to a party and you're picking up girls, it's good to tell them that, isn't it?
It's better than being a physicist, because they can't relate to that one at all. So,
a cellular biologist.
Yeah. Well, it's very critical to understand this, because when people look at themselves in the mirror and they see themselves as single entities, you know, the handsome jar, you know, and there you are. I say, no, you are not a single entity. You are made out of about 50 trillion cells. What's really relevant, a human is by real definition a community
of cells. Yes.
So if you understand how cells work and how that community comes together, then you are given insight about the nature of life.
50 trillion. We can't even begin to understand
a number
trillion,
that's too big.
Yeah,
It's just like, I can easily say it, but to imagine it is unimaginable.
So the cells have used their own reasoning, and they've said, if we all get together
Absolutely.
and make animals and people, we've got a better chance of survival than just being a one little cell.
Absolutely, because every cell has an intelligence and awareness to it, and when you put 2 cells together, they have twice as much awareness and twice the capability of surviving. And the more cells that you can put together in the best configuration to enhance awareness, the more power that community of cells possesses.
Now we'll spend a little bit of time on this, because I love this, that the actual cell itself, whether it be a blood cell, a skin cell, a hair cell, the actual cell, which we look into under the microscope, is just about a complete person in itself, isn't it?
Here's a simple fact. Every function that you find in your human body, as you started to mention a list, even from respiration, digestion, reproduction, nervous system, even immune system, is already present in almost every single cell.
Yeah.
So it didn't get created new from being a human. It just, when the cells started cooperating, they shared what they could do, and the cells started to specialize, just like people can do different jobs, and therefore, if I do this job, I'll get compensation from, and this person over here will do this job, and we can connect and work together in harmony. And that is what a healthy human body is. 50 trillion cells living in happiness and harmony is health. And when there's disharmony in the system, it's called disease.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you say, well, what could cause disharmony? And everybody says, genes cause all the problems. It goes, here's a fact. It's less than 5%, and some people are now arguing less than 1% of illness is related to the genes. Wow. The rest of it is related to, think about it this way, Your mind is a government coordinating the community of 50 trillion workers that make up your body.
And if your mind's not working, you have disease.
You betcha.
Exactly.
If you have a bad government, like we can see around the world today, when we have bad governments, you get people in the country that get upset and go out against the government. And why is that relevant? Because if your cells find that your government, the way you're running this system isn't really in harmony with the community, some cells say, well, screw this, I'm out of the system. And then you get something like cancer.
Yeah.
Cancer is cells in there saying, hey, well, I'm out here for myself now. I'm not here for the rest of the community. I'm doing what I want because there's dissatisfaction.
So you don't get cancer anymore. You get a new disease called Ukraine.
Well, because interestingly enough, as cells came together to make a human, they share awareness to make a community that has more power. The evolution, we are facing an evolution. So when you look outside and you see this whole world looks chaotic, it's like, yes, it's a definite real chaos, not by accident. It's a movement of evolution because we've had separated ourselves as individual people competing with each other, when in fact the evolution is just like cells. We start to recognize, no, rather than fighting each other, we come together in community. And when we come together in community, we create something much more powerful than the separation that we've been programmed to look at.
Now, all those years spent as a cellular biologist led you to write two wonderful books. The first one was called
The Biology of Belief.
And the second one was the
Spontaneous Evolution.
Exactly, and we've talked about both those books. But something
a little bit more fun.
Yeah, and it's called The Honeymoon Effect.
Absolutely.
The Honeymoon Effect. Now, every one of us looking around the world, baby boomers, anyone has experienced falling in love, the honeymoon effect, and they've also experienced the opposite. What a terrible time it is for people. I've been through it. I don't know you've been through it.
I have been. Most everybody I know has been at some point. Yeah.
And why? Why the honeymoon effect? What happens to the body?
Okay. Well, what's really interesting is to just go back and say, what is the honeymoon effect? And that is, look, no matter how your life is running up until you meet someone special who head over heels in love, you fall in love with them. It could be a real crappy life, and all of a sudden you meet this person, and you start to have this love affair. And during this love affair, almost everybody finds they're extremely healthy, exuberantly healthy. Man, I'm really...
You're bulletproof.
Absolutely, and tremendous energy, so much energy that...
You love music, food tastes better.
Oh, everything. It enhances every part of life, and the energy part is so much energy. Go back to those early days, people didn't eat or sleep, they just made love for days, It's like they were just overflowing with energy. And more importantly, this is the most important thing, go back to a time when you had fallen in love. It may have been a very short time, but there was this period where life was so beautiful, you just couldn't wait to get up and have more. And if I would say during those moments was that sort of like heaven on earth. It was like, oh man, it's so great, I'm alive, I'm in love and all that. And people go, yeah, and I go, well, here's an interesting fact. That was not a coincidence, nor was it an accident. Falling in love leads to an individual really taking charge of their lives and creating from wishes and desires. And when two people fall in love and they're both running their nervous systems and their biology with a destination of wishes and desires, they manifest that. And then at some point, this honeymoon frequently disappears shortly, and regular life returns to a large degree. And the question is, well, what happened? I created the honeymoon. Why did I lose it? And the answer was, well, that was a creation, but this creation was actually a product of your subconscious mind. And so basically, to understand the nature of this, there's two minds that run biology. The conscious mind, which is who we are.
We're using as we talk, we're using the conscious mind.
Personal identity. When you say your own name, that's the conscious mind. The conscious mind's creative, and the conscious mind, by its nature, if I said, tell me what you want from your life. Well, if you start to tell me, that's a creative thought. I'm creating. I go, yeah, that's what the conscious mind does. And I say, what's the other mind? I say, subconscious. And I go, what is that? And I go, well, that's like a tape recorder. It records what you've learned so you don't have to relearn it again. You learned how to walk, you don't have to think about that every
Riding
day.
a bike.
Riding a bike, driving a
reading,
car,
all that.
reading your job, whatever you do in repetition, you learn it. So why is that important? Because it doesn't mean you have to spend every day processing how to walk again, how to do my job. No, I know it. Push the button, I do the job. Okay, so now here comes the issue. Subconscious mind got habits, okay? And I said, well, where do they come from? And I say, well, actually, for the first 7 years, you get your habits by observing your parents, your family, and your culture. And you download directly their behavior because the brain, up till 7 years, the brain is operating.
A big sponge.
It's a sponge. It's operating at a frequency called theta in EEG, which means hypnosis. And so you say, well, why should my brain be on hypnosis for 7 years? The answer is simple. Give an analogy. If I had a brand new iPod and I take it out of the box and that little wheel on the front, that's like the conscious mind. Create a playlist, what you want. I say, so you get a brand new iPod, take it out of the box, I say, push play. It's like nothing happens. You're like, oh. Until you put programs into the memory, you can't push play. You can't be creative. So I say, if you want to be a conscious person, you have to have knowledge to be conscious of. So you're like an iPod just out of the box when you're born, no data.
Now, you're in the book, a wonderful story about your mum and dad. They weren't suited to each other, were they? And in the end, they argued day after day. And you're saying that those arguments that you heard your parents have and other people having, that can affect your own life later on, can't it? You're writing programs.
Oh, absolutely, because if you're a young child at that time, you observe let's say my father's behavior, my mother's behavior. I observe that and I say, that's the way life is supposed to be. My subconscious recording it. My conscious mind, the one that thinks, the one that's me, isn't really operating. I'm just receiving. It's like, wow, look at that. It's like, whoa, big surprise here, But you're recording. Why is that relevant? Because the programs that come into your subconscious mind are not filtered by you. They're just direct what you saw. And this is the problem that most people have to deal with in the world, and it is this. 95% of our behavior comes from the subconscious mind, which is primarily programmed by observing others. And when we're playing it, the reason why we're playing those behaviors is because we're not paying attention. Which means then when you express these behaviors from your mother, your father, your family, you yourself are the last one to even see you're doing it because it's an automatic response. And this is the problem creator.
Now, you're wanting to help people by writing a book like this. Why do you want to help people, and what's the driving force to say, I need to get this message out to people about their love lives anyway?
Because consider this possible reality, a cosmic joke of proportions big, is that most people think you die and then you go to heaven. Just consider the possibility that you were born into heaven. Just consider that you came here to do what? Create, which we do. And then you say, yeah, but I wouldn't have created this big mess. I go, yeah, but look, you created that love affair. And it lasted for whatever period of time. That was a personal creation.
Shows you what you can create.
You can create. Then you have to say, well, why don't I have it all the time? And the answer is this. Because if science has recognized when you fall in love, it's the one time in your life where you don't default to the program. So everything you do is based on wishes and desires. But when your mind gets busy, you got to go to work, you got to pay the bills, you got to fix the car, your mind starts thinking, and then all of a sudden you unconsciously default. Play these programs from your mother and father, which could destroy anybody's relationship sometimes, and you yourself didn't even see you did it because your mind was thinking, and so you just played a tape.
Did you write this book because you yourself, Bruce, it says it in the book, you finally found the perfect woman, a wonderful woman, and you've had that wonderful experience of being in love properly for year after year? It wasn't a honeymoon effect. I mean, you've still got the honeymoon effect.
Absolutely.
But it took a few attempts.
But I had to learn a lot, and the biology of belief, which is the foundational story that says how our subconscious programs, the beliefs, shape our biology and our behavior. Once you understand this, and you start to recognize that you did create heaven on earth, you lost heaven on earth. The difference is
you can get it back.
You can get back, because if you get back into the conscious mind, that's what created heaven on earth, or rewrite the programs that sabotage us.
Right. Where can our baby boomer friends, or anyone in New Zealand, pick this wonderful book up? All good bookstores.
I hope so. And if not, Fish Pond or one of those like
Yeah.
Amazon things, that they're for there for sure.
Well, it's called the honeymoon effect. The honeymoon effect, and we've all experienced it. And I think we should give 3 of these books away to 3 of our lucky viewers.
3 people who want to really experience heaven
Yeah.
on earth.
And the question, I think, should be that this book is all about recreating heaven on earth, getting your thoughts together, using the subconscious properly. So in the subject line, email Jared at The Beat Goes On, and in the subject line, write Heaven on Earth.
Yeah.
And 3 of our lucky viewers will each win a copy of
An
the
instruction
Honeymoon
book.
Effect. Yeah, an instruction book on how to run your life.
Yes, exactly.
Bruce, look, we're always running out of time. You and I, we could go for about 5 days, you reckon?
I
Non-stop?
think so. With a little tea every now and then, we could do it.
So I'm going to have to say goodbye now.
I appreciate
and keep the show
everything.
going on.
Thank
but
you so very much.
Look, it's just been wonderful to see you once again.